Hey guys, this is going to be part two of the two types of dark night of the soul. And the first one, we talked about the feminine dark night of the soul. And in today's, we're going to be talking about the masculine dark night of the soul. So stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome to Spiritual Awakening Sundays. If you guys are new, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Astaria, and here on Sundays, we talk about everything you need to know to help guide you on your spiritual awakening journey. So if you guys missed the first video where I talked about the feminine dark night of the soul, I'll try to link it up here so you guys can watch that, and then you guys can come back here, or you can watch this one, then jump there and learn about the masculine dark night of the soul, because they were two separate energies for me, and I like to talk about the masculine in this one's video. So let's jump right in. My masculine dark night of the soul was rather long. If you missed the feminine one, it was only about 3 weeks. This one went on a little less than 2 years. Now, this was intense. Interesting enough, what catapulted it and what started it was the end of a Soul Tribe family member friendship. I had met about 3-4 souls that I felt like I was just at home with. And I met my soul tribe, and I was just like, we were walking around 5D all the time. Little did I not know at the time, but there are such things as spiritual narcissist. I got entangled maybe with the wrong crowd, and I didn't necessarily know that at the time. I fell in love with these individuals, and they were home to me. And so when this ended, it threw me into one of the darkest energies of my life. It was very dark for 3 weeks. I didn't even think it was dark night of the soul. However, I looking back at from beginning to end, you can see everything that planned out and panned out. And you can see how I was like, oh my God, I was in dark night of the soul this whole time. Very interesting enough. I will say this, because as the story went on over the next 2 years, it felt like I was going in and out of the matrix. Now with the feminine dark night of the soul, it was like fine during the day. It was okay. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't horrible. And then like the worst ever. I don't want to live at night. But the masculine dark night of the soul, I was going in and out of the matrix and in and out of the matrix on and off for like 2 years. Now there would be low. Like you think you hit your bottom low and there's a rock bottom, and it kept getting lower and lower. But I didn't realize that like when I'd get out of those lows, which were not highs, they were just normal. I still kept trying to get back to where I was before this Soul Tribe family member friendship. That circle ended. And because I was at such peace and I never felt love like this. And I was just like home. And I was so happy. I kept trying to get back to that. And so even though I'd get out of those low lows, I never got back to where I was. And I was like, I'm not out of the dark night of the soul, but I'm not in it. And so I can look back and say I was like jumping in and out of the matrix. Now, I actually truly believe once you get out of the matrix, you can't go back in. However, it was as close to the third density as I think I could get. With the Soul Tribe family members, I was in definitely 5D like every day. And this threw me into like the lowest point of the fourth density ascension, where you're like right there, almost at third density. So I was like going back and forth, like third density, fourth density. I was like, I'd drop all the way down, right above it, right? And then I'd go like, yeah. It just, I could never get back to 5D, which would be way up here. So it was like back and forth, like in and out of the matrix. My vibration, it was like lows and then really lows, and then lows and really lows. And sometimes those lows were okays and then really lows. And so this went on for a while, and I could find some, I guess, happiness, but it felt like I was just coping and not thriving. I didn't feel like I was living. There was no passion. There was no purpose. I disconnected with my why. I just wasn't that I was unhappy. Like I went through that whole process and grieved the ending of that circle. And when I got to the other side of it, a few months later and realized I was in a better place, I didn't feel better about myself. There was still a disconnect. I was still spiritually disconnected, right? And so here I was, I mourned and grieved those losses, but my excitement, my thirst for the spiritual knowledge to wake up and meditate and do all this stuff, it still wasn't there. Like I didn't have this eager, like spirituality was the reason I got out of bed and the reason I did everything, and it was not there anymore. And so I really felt disconnected from my spiritual side, and I didn't know why. Because I worked through everything and I grieved through everything. And I was in a better place. There was nothing wrong with me mentally, emotionally, physically. But yet I was just there, like going through the emotions and not happy. And I couldn't tell you what was wrong. I just did not feel spiritually connected. And so that was my okay moments, where when I wasn't in that complete low, I'd be, well, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm just not happy. There was no reason for me not to be happy. And so here I was, in and out of this matrix for like a while. So let's see, that happened November of 2020. And then May 21, I went into a year of business hibernation. Now, this did not help. This did not help my dark night of the soul, my masculine dark night of the soul, because what it did is it actually made it a lot worse. It amplified it so much. I went all masculine energy. Masculine energy is action takers and preparing and planning and getting things. I like launched a business. I was branding myself. I was so busy. I would work like 90 hours a week. I was only taking care of my masculine energy. I was only taking care of my mental energy. Only my mental side. It was overworked. I had no emotional satisfaction, no spiritual energy, no spiritual discipline, and no physical movement. I just sat in front of a computer or laptop all day, and it killed me emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And it just got worse and worse. I was mentally having breakdowns. I was emotionally exhausted. I was working so hard, I couldn't understand why I couldn't get anywhere with my business. And so I was just all masculine all the time, which then my feminine was like dying away, right? My feminine was so gone. My empath side was screaming for nurture and self-care, was screaming to get the spiritual practices back, but I just didn't have time, and I'd go in and out of it. Like here I'd try yoga today, but then not for a week, or I would do it for a week and then not for 3 weeks. And I didn't have that consistency to build the spiritual discipline. So I couldn't ever get myself out of the dark night of the soul. Here I was, thinking it was never going to end. I mean, I was close to like 2 years. And then I had my breaking point. As I talk about hitting that rock bottom, no, that rock bottom, that basement has a basement. It got even worse. So with my feminine dark night of the soul, I didn't want to be here. And I remember cussing out my guides, but thank God I had been a few years on my awakening journey. I was pretty much suicidal. Now I knew that this wasn't my energy. I was smart enough and self-aware enough to know that this was dark night of the soul. There was so much going on this time. This was July 2022, and we were in Cancer season. There was a portal. There was like 7 astrological things, a lot of planets in retrograde, that it just completely, like, a lot of people were reaching out to me at this time saying they were struggling with a lot of depression and dark night of the soul. Everything was so amplified. So in June 2021, I went through a mental breakdown. And then in June 2022, I went through another mental breakdown. But what happened was the second time around, July, I was emotionally spent. I had nothing left. Again, I had gone through these where I thought I had nothing left emotionally and just done. But this time it was so intense that it was just, I shut my calendar off. I stopped seeing clients. I literally was just like, I'm done. And I had to like completely just stop working and take time for me because this was my breaking point. So I spent a month about just focusing on self-care, not seeing clients, nourishing myself back to health. In August, there started to be some light, right? And the spiritual practices started to become this discipline where I was getting excited every day about doing the yoga and doing the meditation. And I knew that there was light, but I wasn't completely out of it yet. I would classify August as balance, because July was all about the self-care, and I needed it because this was at that point over a year and a half maybe of the dark night of the soul. So at that point I needed 30 days of just self-care. And then I found balance and I found happiness. So in August, I made plans. Me and my friend went to Great America every Monday. We were running jet skis. I'd be out on the lake. I started doing social activities. I started doing full moon circles again. Like I hadn't even been doing those. I was so disconnected from the spiritual side of me, meditating daily, yoga and all this stuff. And I was starting to get excited about life again, but I was finding the balance, right? So I opened up my schedule a little bit with work and clients and made sure that it's okay to take breaks. Like I'll work an hour here, take a break. I work 4 hours, take a break, like whatever it is. And I found the balance in August. Well, even at the end of August, a few things played a part in it. End of August, I met more people that were like home, and they were other people that were so heart-centered and so fulfilled. I spent a lot of time in nature. I was going on these wilderness retreats. I was going to Wisconsin a lot, which is where my soul lives. So I was like completely at peace at home. I was doing all these things to ignite my passion and purpose. I was doing so much to reconnect with my why. And I started living again and not just coping. And I found that balance and I found my happiness, like what makes me happy. I was out doing hobbies. I was connecting with other spiritual people. I was doing events. I was going to events. I was just filled with so much love Your tribe is your vibe. Your vibe is your tribe. It really played all the difference in the world being around people that were high vibe. This helped me so much. And so here it was. I went on this one wilderness retreat and I came back and I was so grateful. My heart center was just, chakra was just expanding. And I just had so much gratitude and so much love. I started activating my divine feminine energy and tapping back into it. And there was so much I did spiritually that developed the spiritual discipline and activated divine feminine and connecting with the like-minded souls and getting out, not being in business hibernation, and just spreading the love and feeling the love and allowing myself to be in present moment. And the more I did that, I was like, came back from the wilderness retreat. I went on another one, but in between it was like nonstop. It was like spirituality every day. I reconnected with my passion, my purpose, my why, everything. And it was just bringing me so much joy. I actually started working with flower essence at the time too. I was putting in my water to activate. I'd get ones for joy and happiness and enthusiasm and excitement. There was a lot of things I was doing, frequencies. I mean, I think that really the couple things that were the big energies were the people I was around and the spiritual practices and the discipline. And here it was. I went on another wilderness retreat and I just came back and it was over. There was no more. I was like back in my energy, but like a different energy, right? Because you can't go back to where you were. And I was so freaking happy. I had never been so happy in my life. Like my whole vibration was the vibration of happiness. So first I worked on self-care. Then I found my balance. Then I found passion and purpose, while doing all the spiritual disciplines along the way. And then I was just this vibration of happiness. Like I was just always smiling and always dancing and always laughing and always just so fulfilled. And my heart chakra was just expanding, expanding, expanding. And I was just I had so much love. I had so much love. Like there are no words for the amount of joy I felt when I got to the other side of it. So basically the synopsis of this is, if you are going all masculine all the time, your feminine will die off and you'll go through a masculine dark night of the soul. And so how I got out of my masculine dark night of the soul is I reconnected with my feminine. And what happened is my feminine rose up, but then I realized I could have a balance. It didn't have to be masculine all the time, and it didn't have to be feminine all the time. Now I'm balanced between those two. I can go into my masculine energy and work all day and then come out at night and take care of my spiritual side, my feminine side, or have weekends off or do it in the morning, or maybe half the day, half and half. I find the balance where I can literally tap into my feminine anytime, but I can tap into my masculine anytime as well. So I use the feminine approach to heal my masculine dark night of the soul. And then I achieve balance where I can balance out the energies anytime. And guys, it's really starting to rain. So I think I'm going to end the video here. Plus, we're like 14 minutes in. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you got anything out of this video, do me a favor, that thumbs up button. This way I know you got something that resonated. If you guys haven't yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. There's a bell too. You want to hit the bell and turn on all notifications. I don't want you guys to miss out on any upcoming messages. The next message just might be the message that you need to hear today. All right, my loves, I better go find my cat as well. He's outside in the rain. So until next time, be blessed.